Before I came to Italy, I remember being told, please, Olivia, do not go to that country. And those people, sadly, they were not wrong. I remember when I was looking for an apartment to stay, someone literally told me they were not giving houses to non Italians. Let me start by asking, how was your experience in Italy? Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Olivia and thank you for passing by. If you're coming back, thank you for always coming to watch my videos and supporting me. Before I continue, today's video is very sensitive and disclaimer, it's not meant to discredit anyone or to invalidate anyone. I know we all have different experiences when we go to different countries. I do acknowledge everyone's experiences and your feelings are not invalidated. However, this video is meant for educational purposes, for those who want to visit, for those who want to study, for those who want to travel here, name it, for those who want to come and just share different experiences. Whenever Italy is mentioned, then this video is for you. I got this question from my audience and they asked me, I have a job offer through a labor immigration in Italy. This is a project. I am trying to learn the language on my own, though I have been assigned an Italian teacher. Please talk about racism in your next video and what to expect as Kenyan heading to Italy. Thank you. So this video is for any foreigner, as long as you're not Italian, whether you are from whichever country and you want to come here. Yes, stick along because you are about to get everything you need. Unbiasedly, Italy is one of the most beautiful countries, from the architecture to the landscape to the food to the culture is beautiful, but the experience can be invalidated or can be ruined when it comes to different aspects. From the interactions you will get with people, they can either be positive or negative. And whenever you go anywhere new, you are always supposed to at least be ready for this mentally. So before I came to Italy, just like all of you or most of you have been searching or hearing in the media, maybe the headlines, that the Italy is not so much friendly, especially when you are a foreigner. And I will say both yes and no. I will talk about both negative and positive sides and exactly what you can do to at least minimize the chances of ruining your experience when you come to Italy. I am originally from Kenya, and my experience, let's say in the first month when I came to Italy, some of them were not so pleasant. And like I've said, when I was looking for my first apartment to stay in Italy, as someone who didn't know literally anyone here, it was very hard for me because you could go to some people and they could tell you without hiding that they are not giving their places or their apartments to an Italian. And especially if you showed them an identity which was not like from Italy, then that was the end of the discussion. And you were not going to discuss anything else, whether you had the money, whether you had all the resources that was needed to rent that house. No, it was bas it was the end of conversation and nothing else would go on. I thought this was quite sad because it was interesting. Colorism came into so much play, especially when it came to the people. They preferred to stay in their houses, some of them, which I thought was a little bit silly. I thought it was a little bit even wrong, so wrong that you were to judge someone based on their color. Honestly, personally, I've always wondered why I would choose to discriminate someone based on their color, because when I look at the broader perspective of life, I've always been like, really, in the end, all of us are heading to one place, and whether you act so superior, whether you act, I don't know, whichever way, all of us are humans. In the end, we are breathing the same air, we are doing the same things. Maybe the only difference is that we are living different lives in the perspective that some of us come from different races, we come from we come from different ethnicities, we come from different backgrounds, we come from different cultures, and so we can never be all the same. The base point is that we are all humans, and whether you run away or whether you try to be in denial, you will always be human as long as you are seeing me and you are breathing and you are able to hear me, we are able to connect, then That is the base point. You are human. So you're going to experience any other thing that I'm going to go through, maybe in a different level, but you, that is exactly what you're all going to go through. And so I will say that before you come to Italy, always make sure that you settle your accommodation, because it can be quite stressful. It can even bring you down as a person. When you go to someone and they tell you, no, we do not want people of your kind, definitely because you are someone who looks like me, because there's nothing you can do about it. Please make sure you book your accommodation, or make sure you settle your accommodation before you come to Italy. One thing I learned is that it's very important to research about a country before you go there, because it gives you a broader perspective and what at least to expect. Before you go to that country, at least you're able to prepare yourself mentally, you're able to prepare yourself physically, and you're able to be in the right headspace. Should anything happen to you, at least you are already ahead prepared. When it comes to job in Italy, it's very connected to the language, and so it's very important that when you're coming to Italy, you learn the Italian language. Italy is a country in which for the longest time Italian has been the main language, and probably in between the last 10 to 20 years is when English was incorporated as one of maybe the second languages. And so most of the population here, they still do not understand English so well. Maybe the younger generation are the ones who are trying, but majority do not speak or communicate in English. So it's like when you're coming to Italy, expect a language barrier if you do not understand Italian language. And so most of their jobs, in order for you to be incorporated into the corporate industry, you have to be able to communicate with other people, you have to be able to interact with other people, because it's like a community. And so if you cannot talk to other people, you cannot understand each other, then it's going to be very hard to find you a place or to incorporate you in that industry. Most of the things, even the manuals, how they're training you, how you're going to live with other people, they are going to be in Italian. And so language barrier, most of the times you're even going to feel isolated, because you cannot chip in conversations when people are talking, when people are making different discussions, or when people are making different opinions. You will not be able to chip in, and you're going to feel isolated. So it's very important that at least you know the Italian language. This is just to make things easier for you as a person who is at least willing to come to a different country. Most of the jobs here are tied to the Italian language, and please be aware of that. The experiences or how you're going to be treated in Italy will be a little bit different from one city to the other, and I would highly recommend that when you're coming to Italy, please aim for the international cities such as Milan, Roma, Venezia, Venice, Firenze, Florence, because these cities, most of the times, they are diverse and they are living with people from different backgrounds, from different culture, from different races. And so you are able to mingle with the community so well, because you are able to find people of your own, you are able to find your own path. And it's always very peaceful when someone is able to find their own path in life, and they're able to find peace at least in where they're staying. I mean, it feels good. Myself, it was a little bit hard, especially because I was alone. But once I got settled and had my own peace and had everything straight path, everything else became so easy. When it comes to the language, you can use different online resources. Some of them, most of them actually are free. You can use Duolingo, learn Italian, so that when you come here, at least you are able to speak. Because in my perspective, when we used to learn about language barrier years back, I was one of the people who always thought this was not the main point, until I came here and I was like, that was actually the main issue, because no one was understanding what I was saying. I was also not understanding what they were saying, and most of the time, either the parties, I would end up frustrated, or the other party would end up frustrated, because there was no commonality, or we wouldn't end up meeting at some point, because we were not understanding each other. You don't have to be perfect in Italian, because they're also learning English. And so if you can meet at least at a certain level, then that is good. You don't have to be perfect. I've also had a few a few instances where someone told me literally that when you come to Italy, please do things as Italians do. And I was like, that was weird because you expect me to do things how Italians do. However, I'm not Italian. I'm totally different. For example, someone expected me, coffee is a very common drink here. There's one for the morning. Someone can drink at least up to 6 coffees per day. And for me, I'm not even a coffee lover. At least I can take a maximum of 3 per day, which is not every time. To me, it was absolutely crazy. And then someone telling me that that is what I must do since I'm here. I thought that was just so mean. Also, when you come here, please be prepared to stand for your own values. Find something you can have a ground on and back up yourself so that you do not end up being swayed by everything else you find. Italians do this, you also want to do this. Italians move this way, you also have to move that way. Because in the end, you're going to end up frustrated because these are things you do not live with. You are trying to incorporate into a culture which, at the end of the day, is not you. So I think it's just best you try to match up to what you can, but something which totally changes you, please scrap it away. Do not change yourself or who you are as a person because you're trying to fit into a society. It's going to get you mentally deluded. I've had incredible experiences, especially after speaking the Italian language, and I did realize that language barrier is one of the main factors that played a very important role in how you get responses from people, in how they're going to treat you sometimes. If they're not treating you based off your color or based off who you are, then they're going to dismiss you based on the language because they're not going to understand what you're saying. You're also not going to understand what they're saying, and so communication there is going to be absolutely zero. For the records, not all Italians are dismissive, and I can tell you that the experience you're going to get from one place or from one set of people is going to be totally different from the experience you're going to get from another group of people. This time, you're going to find people who are very warm, people who are very welcoming, people who are not even going to consider you not speaking their language. They're going to try to understand you, while in the same hand, there are people who are just going to dismiss you, irrespective of whichever treatment you get from whichever place. I want to assure you that Italy is absolutely an incredible country with incredible people. You're going to love it, from the landscapes, from the architecture is absolutely amazing. I do honestly hope you enjoy your experience here, whether you're coming just for education, whether you're coming just for touristic purposes, whether you're just coming for a visit, whichever purpose you're coming here, I honestly do hope you enjoy your place here. And please do not let one negative experience invalidate your whole travel or your whole experience, because that is just always going to be there with people who are miserable. They're always trying to project their fears, they're always trying to project their misery on other people who totally have nothing to do with that. Let miserable people live in their misery. Please do ignore them and make sure that for once in a lifetime, if you get a chance to be in Italy, make it worth a living. I do hope you enjoyed this video, and please, if you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe to get the next of adventures, and let's share this journey together. Ciao, ciao.